What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Willtv. I'm so pleased that you decided to join me again on today. Let's get right into it. Today's drink of choice we have today this Heyyyyy organic yerba mate blueberry tea, sis. Get into it. I love me some yerba mate. Yerba mate, if you don't know what it is, it's a 100% naturally occurring caffeine from organic yerba mate. Oh wait, what is yerba mate? Who cares? We don't really got time. But yerba mate makes energy drinks that are all natural, and so these are really good. They usually make sparkling ones, and I like the sparkling ones because they're carbonated and that's fun. But my teeth are also rotting. Yes, your boy has cavities, so I'm not going to be doing the sparkling today. This one, I haven't even tasted it yet. Like, it's still cold, sis. I just got it out of the refrigerator. Ooh. Well, she smells good. She smells delicious. Disgusting. I'm kidding. It was really good. I like this. The tea it's a tea. It's not that sugary. It's also infused with like blueberry juice, so it's all good. I like it. It's a fresh summer drink. Okay. Ooh, let's go ahead and get started with today's first segment. You already know it's a hair tip or a product spotlight, or maybe both. Who cares? Satin scarves, okay? These are really infamous within the natural hair community. They're used to protect your hair, especially at night or throughout the day. Who knows? You know, if you want to rock it as a fashion statement, rock it as a fashion statement. They keep all the moisture in your hair at night, and they protect it from your cotton sheets or whatever you got, sis. When you're rolling at night, twisting and turning, dreaming about all kinds of crazy things, these keep your hair protected. I actually went ahead and did a little research because I was like, where do these come from? Why do we put this on our head? Whose idea was this? I know a lot of us would like to say that it was Solange, but your boy did a little research. Back in 1350 BC, Queen Nefertiti was the first to be seen wearing a scarf on her head. And then, several thousand years later, Chinese Emperor Cheng used scarves to mark military rank. It wasn't until the 19th century that scarves became popularized. 1837, Hermes. You all know Hermes. Okay, she hangs out with Gucci, she hangs out with Louis Vuitton. Hermes made the first ready-to-wear scarf. And then that same year, Queen Victoria was like, ooh, sis, I gotta have one of those. She took a picture with it, threw it up on the gram, had all of America and Europe going crazy. And that's where we get the scarf from. I actually was gifted not too long ago from, oh shoot, what is it called? Unorthodox Roots. They actually have these little satin caps that you can just slide over your head. They're lined, okay, with satin, but on the outside, it's a cute little cotton, sis. It's real cute. You just put it over your head at night and you can just, you know, good night. I have a 15% off code, but honestly, I can't really remember what the code is. I think it's Will on the Win 15 or Will Not Willie 15. Try your luck, sis. If you want one of these, I'll put some information down below so you can check it out for yourself. But anyway, next segment. Y'all know what time it is. My favorite part of the show. It's the Vine appreciation segment. So today's Vine is actually sort of like unintroducible. You can't really explain it. Let's just cut to the clip.
Just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough. Just a second, we're not broken, just bend and we can learn to love again.
Okay, I gotta pause it. I really can't do much more, but this is funny for a few reasons. One, because it just brings me back to a time, okay? Flashback time. The year was 2000 something. I don't know, I can't remember. I was a bright-eyed young child at the ripe age of 13. And I was in a daycare. Yup, you heard that right. I was in a daycare at age 13. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that for a second? My life was weird. I had a weird childhood. But because I was 13, naturally, I was the oldest one there. They actually put me to work. They were like, actually help us out with these younger kids. So I would help out and like change diapers and I would like do all these things at 13 years old, helping out in a daycare, even though I was sort of like a child in the daycare. Does that make sense? We don't have time to explain. As you can imagine, there wasn't much for me to do as a 13-year-old in a daycare. So what I did was I started to print out lyrics to my favorite musicals, High School Musical, Cheetah Girls, even Dreamgirls, sis. And I would force the younger kids to act out the scripts. It was crazy. I was crazy. But I also was bored, okay? Sue me. So when I watched this Vine, okay, which is actually an extended version that I'm showing you all today, it reminds me of that time. So I have a few questions for this, right? So one, it's like, what's up with the fans? I don't understand the fans. Two, like, why are these people like angry? Why do they have their like hands crossed and like looking like they're totally not there for it? Like, look at this one girl. She's clearly being forced against her will to do this. Also, what is this like barren sub-Saharan background with like trees that don't have any leaves and like, it looks like post-apocalyptic vibes. Like, are these kids in danger? I cannot. Let's look at the comments real quick. Okay, let me scroll down. Okay, the first comment is, Kids Bop is quaking. Kids Bop who? Somebody's comment is, 3:58 is the worst part, and 3:58 is obviously like a timestamp, so let's click 3:58. 3:58 is the end of the video. I just love this so much, and by no means am I making fun of these kids. These kids are clearly born to be superstars. I cannot wait to see them on Kids Bob. I cannot wait. Next segment. Woo, Lord Jesus, it's a fire, because this next song is fire, okay? It's the music appreciation segment or music recommendations. I don't know, I haven't chosen yet. This is the segment where I recommend you a tune that I'm listening to at the moment. And this next tune, I'm not just listening to it, I'm embodying it. It's just such a good song. It's a classic bop. Now, I can't necessarily link you to the exact song because I found the song in the middle of a long mix from a mix called Culture Vibe number 60 by, can't remember who the artist was. Let's go ahead and get into this.
When I'm blocking your phone number, you call me over your best friend's house. And it's not hot that I can't even go out with my girlfriends without you tracking me down. You need to chill out with that mess, cause you can't keep having me stressed. Cause every time my phone rings, it seems to be you, and I'm praying that it is someone else. So I bought a pair of shoes. Now I guess you think I owe you. As much as you do. I get back to be through with you.
Cut. Okay, cut. We gotta cut. I was going a little too hard and I almost lost myself. This is like one of the best remixes of Bugaboo that I've heard to date. I've seen so many different remixes, and this one was just, the beat rode the lyrics and the lyrics rode the beat. It was just good. So definitely check out that song, but the entire mix, it's like a whole hour and 3 minutes long. Definitely check it out. You can follow me on SoundCloud at Will on a Whim. Girl, get you some music in your life. But let's go ahead and move on to the next segment. Boom shakalaka, just like that, we're here at the other news segment. This is the segment where I talk. Yep. So in today's other news, I realized that these are just turning into like, what is Will watching on TV now? I'm still watching Big Brother. Big Brother is at the point where it's like really stressing me out, and this is the part where I sort of like live for that, but I also am like, my heart, you know what I mean? It hurts. So I'm not really all the way caught up. I have one episode that I've been sitting on because I've been watching another show, which I'll talk about next. The last thing that happened, and I'm so sorry, this is a spoiler alert if you haven't seen the eviction where Brent is up on the block against Winston. But Brent made up a whole lie in his eviction speech, and he lied against Rockstar. And Rockstar really was just, she was so honest, and he made up a whole lie, and the whole house believed him.
Disgusting. I can't believe on my daughter's birthday that you would drag my name through the mud like this. You are disgusting.
It was so upsetting for me. I was so stressed out, and I was like empathizing with Rockstar because flashback story time. When I was younger, I had a little bit of a lisp, okay? I could never really pronounce words fully. And even today, it's like kind of hard for me. Like I'm enunciating real hard right now. But I recall one blessed day when I was out with my mom and my cousin at the grocery store. And we were at the checkout line. I was a good like 7 years old. My cousin was like maybe 9 years old. There are these benches, the things that you sit on just beyond the checkout lines, and those are usually meant for kids. There's like toys and stuff there, and kids will sit there as their parents go ahead and check out. So just like any other normal shopping day, my cousin and I go and sit on the bench. But unlike any normal shopping day, my cousin was just acting crazy. She was acting wild, like jumping up and down and like twirling and like doing all this stuff. And I was like, sis, you gotta calm down because you're gonna hit your head on the bench. And she looked at me kind of weird, and I felt weird because it was like, why she stopped? She's usually hard-headed, you know, you gotta tell her 3 times for her to stop. But she calmed down, she sat down, and we checked out and we went back home. Soon as I got home, I was summoned into timeout. Nose to the wall, back straight. Okay, I had to stay there for 15 whole minutes. And 15 whole minutes is a long time when you're a little kid. Apparently, my cousin told on me and said that I cursed at her. She thought I called her the B word, which I clearly did not, or at least I guess it wasn't so clear, but people would not believe me when I said, listen, I told her to stop, you know, before she hits her head on the bench, okay? Nobody believed me, and it sucked. And I had to go through that like a million more times with all kinds of words. People thought I was cursing all throughout my childhood, but no, I was saying regular words. It was just hard for me to enunciate. So back to Big Brother, I empathize with Rockstar when everybody around you believes something that is so totally not true about you.
Disgusting.
I cried a little bit in that episode, I ain't gonna lie. But Big Brother is getting juicy. I actually appreciate this season because a lot is happening. Like, people are really like going forward with the game. So I'm here for it. Next up, we have Handmaid's Tale. Oh my gosh. This is the craziest show I've watched since like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is one of those shows where it's like beautiful cinematically, but it's also like horrific in terms of the content of the actual show. People are dying, there's wars, there's like really crazy, messed up things happening. Handmaid's Tale is sort of on the same line with that. It's like beautiful cinematically. Every single show is a movie, and they last as long as a movie too. It's they're like an hour long. But basically, if you haven't watched Handmaid's Tale, which you absolutely should, I mean, if you can stomach like really horrific things happening, the plot lines are amazing. They're not rushed. Everything is like so balanced. Nobody like within the confines of their character are making like irrational decisions. But basically, like the whole gist of the story is that there's these people that overthrew the American government and started this whole like extremist Christian, like, I don't even know, it's a community called Gilead. And the reason why they started this was because childbirth had gone down so much that they were scared for the sort of longevity of America. So they have this biblical structure of community where they have these handmaids, which are basically slaves, whose only purpose is to give birth because most of the women have gone infertile. So even just knowing that, you know, is crazy. I got one episode less, and I can say by far that this is one of the most interesting stories I think out there on television right now. It's like so bizarre and so crazy, the juxtaposition of like modern day society with like these biblical times. And just like with Game of Thrones, you can hear a description of what Game of Thrones is and be like, I don't know if that's for me, but then when you watch it, you're like, wow. It's the same thing with Handmaid's Tale. Like for the longest time I avoided watching it, even though people were like, this is amazing, this show is amazing. But when I started watching it, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. So you should definitely watch it. But just like with Game of Thrones, make sure it don't stress you out too much, because it can stress you out. But beyond that, in other news, Rumi and Sir Carter, girl, they showed their faces. Okay, they came out to play, and they are so freaking adorable. I cannot wait until Sir Carter, Rumi, and Blue Ivy come together to form the next generation of Destiny's Child, and they service all the bops that we need. That is, if Blue Ivy doesn't spend all of her time sipping Mai Tais on yachts in the middle of Italy. We stand her, we stand a legend, we stand the Carters. I love them so much. That's really it for other news. There's really nothing else, girl. So let's move on to the last segment. Congratulations, we made it to the last segment of Willtv. I know it's sad, sis, but I got things to do. We all know that the last segment is the segment where I talk about the things that I'm grateful for in my life. And this time around, I'm grateful for my bike. You can't really see it, but it's right over there. I just purchased a road bike off of Craigslist, sis. It was about 50 bucks, and it's one of the best investments I think that anybody can make. It's my favorite form of exercise. Road bikes are very aesthetic. It's very hipster. I had a bike in college, and I had to leave it over on the East Coast, and I miss it so much. Oh my god. I can't wait to just let this chunky twist out down, you know what I mean? And just ride my bike and just, you know, live my best life. I'm also grateful for chunky twist outs because, sis, this was easy. But yeah, that's what I'm thanking God for. That's what I'm thanking the universe for. A bike, because it offers me mobility, it offers me exercise, it offers me just a modicum of fun. So that brings us to the end of another episode of Willtv. I'm so happy that you all decided to join me today. You can absolutely follow me if you don't know who I am on other social media platforms. You can follow me on YouTube at Will on a Whim, Snapchat at Will on a Whim, Twitter at Will on a Whim, and Instagram at Will Not Willie. I hope to see you all back here next Friday for another episode of Willtv. But until then, also hold on, I don't know, August may be a little shady, okay? Because I'm doing some traveling, so I don't know how many times I'm gonna be able to do Willtv in August, but I'll definitely update you all on my Instagram story, okay? So I may or may not see y'all next Friday for another episode of Willtv. But until then, bye.